Liam Bennett dropped to one knee in the middle of his grease-stained auto shop, the ring box trembling in his oil-calloused hands. 6 months ago, he'd walked into the wrong conversation, sat at the wrong table, introduced himself to the wrong person, and somehow, impossibly, found exactly the right life. But first, he had to survive meeting her father. The night it all started, Liam stood outside Bella Vista, an upscale Italian restaurant where the prices made his stomach turn. His sister Jade had set up the blind date, insisting he needed to get out there after 2 years of nothing but work and loneliness. He'd borrowed a sports coat that didn't quite fit and promised himself he'd stay for one drink before escaping. Inside, he spotted a woman sitting alone near the window and approached with misplaced confidence. "You must be Jade's friend," he said, sliding into the seat. The woman looked up, amusement dancing in her dark eyes. Her wheelchair was positioned at the table, natural as anything else about her. She was beautiful in an effortless way, and her smile suggested she knew something funny she hadn't shared yet. "Actually, I'm waiting for my father," she said. "But you seem more interesting than another lecture about safety protocols." Liam's brain caught up. Wrong table. Somewhere in this restaurant, his actual date was waiting. But this woman was still smiling. "I should find my real date," he said, though he didn't move. "You probably should," she agreed. "Unless you'd rather tell me why you look like you'd rather be anywhere else." "That obvious? Your collar's already loosened, and you've glanced at the exit twice." "I'm Sophie, software developer." "You, Liam. I own an auto shop." Her eyes lit up. "Now that's honest work. Better than debugging code all day, which is basically my entire existence." The conversation flowed like they'd known each other for years. Sophie talked about troubleshooting complex systems, the satisfaction of solving impossible problems. Liam described the challenge of keeping a small business alive, the joy of hearing an engine roar back to life. 20 minutes vanished before a man in an expensive suit appeared beside their table. "Sophie," the man said, his voice tight. "I wasn't aware you'd be meeting anyone. I wasn't planning to, Dad. This is Liam." He sat at the wrong table. Raymond Carver's eyes swept over Liam and found him lacking in 3 seconds flat. "How unfortunate. We should order." Liam stood, catching Sophie's eye. "It was nice meeting you." "Wait." She pulled out her phone. "Give me your number. I'd like to continue this conversation." He gave it to her, feeling Raymond's disapproval like a physical weight. As he walked away, he glanced back to see Sophie arguing with her father in hushed tones. His actual blind date turned out to be pleasant but forgettable. All Liam could think about was Sophie's laugh, the way she'd leaned forward when talking about things she cared about, completely present and unself-conscious. Sophie texted him the next morning. "Coffee? I promise not to lecture you about safety protocols. That's my father's specialty." They met at a small cafe near her apartment. Sophie ordered something complicated with extra shots while Liam stuck with black coffee. "So your father," Liam said, because the tension had been impossible to ignore. Sophie sighed. "Dad means well. Car accident when I was 21, 6 months in rehab. He watched me struggle through all of it, and some part of him never moved past seeing me as that scared kid in the hospital bed. That must be frustrating. You have no idea. He vets everyone I date, everyone I work with. He means it as love, but sometimes love is suffocating." She looked up at him. "He's going to be a problem for us. I should tell you that up front." "I got that impression. And you're still here?" "I'm still here." Her smile could have powered the entire city. Over the next month, they fell into an easy rhythm. Sophie visited the shop, laughing when he got grease on his face. He visited her apartment, impressed by her wall of monitors and the complexity of her work. They had dinner, watched movies, shared comfortable silences that felt more intimate than conversation. But Raymond's shadow loomed over everything. He'd show up unannounced to pick Sophie up from dates, his disapproval radiating like heat. He'd called during dinners, always with some urgent concern that couldn't wait. The confrontation came on a Tuesday afternoon when Raymond appeared at the shop. "Mr. Bennett," Raymond said, his tone formal. "We need to talk." Liam set down his wrench. "About my daughter. You're wasting her time. She needs someone stable, someone who can provide security, not a man whose business could fail tomorrow. With respect, sir, Sophie's not a child. She's brilliant and independent. You don't understand what it takes to care for her." "I'm not trying to care for her," Liam said, keeping his voice level. I'm trying to build something with her. There's a difference. Raymond's jaw tightened. You're in over your head, Mr. Bennett. Sophie requires considerations you can't possibly understand. Maybe you're the one who doesn't understand, Liam said quietly. She doesn't need protection from living her life. She needs people who see her as capable. Raymond left without another word, but Liam knew it wasn't over. The crisis came 2 weeks later during a massive rainstorm. The shop's old drainage system failed, and water flooded the garage, threatening equipment and current projects. Liam was knee-deep in chaos, trying to salvage what he could, when Sophie arrived. Jade called me, she said, rolling up to survey the damage. What do you need? Sophie, it's a mess. You don't have to. Stop. Her voice cut through his protest. What do you need? Something in her tone made him pause. This wasn't about the wheelchair or limitations. This was about partnership. Clients need to be called. Projects need rescheduling. I've got suppliers on speed dial. On it. She pulled out her laptop. Give me names and numbers. For the next 3 hours, they worked in tandem. Sophie handled logistics with ruthless efficiency, calling clients, rescheduling deliveries, even negotiating with the insurance company while Liam and his mechanic moved equipment to higher ground. Her wheelchair navigated the shop like she'd worked there for years. By midnight, the crisis was contained. They sat on the hood of a lifted truck, exhausted and soaked. I couldn't have done this without you, Liam said. I know, Sophie replied. That's what partners do. The next day, Raymond showed up at the shop again. But this time, something was different in his expression. My daughter called me last night, Raymond said. Told me what happened here. Told me how she helped. Liam waited. I've spent 7 years protecting her. Maybe too well. Raymond's voice was rough. She talks about you constantly. Said you see her for who she is, not what she can't do. Because that's who she is, Mr. Carver. She's remarkable. Raymond nodded slowly. She said the same thing about you. He paused. I was wrong about you, Mr. Bennett. Not many men would stand up to me the way you did. Fewer would mean it. It wasn't quite a blessing, but it was close enough. That brought Liam to tonight, to this moment, on his knees in the shop where everything had almost fallen apart, and Sophie had proven they were stronger together. Sophie rolled through the door right on schedule, stopping short when she saw him kneeling. Liam, what are you? Remember when you first showed up here during the flood? He asked. She smiled. You mean when I saved your business? That's when I knew for certain. He opened the ring box, his hand steadier now. Sophie Carver, you're brilliant and stubborn, and you see me for exactly who I am. And I see you, all of you. Not the wheelchair, not the limitations other people imagine. Just you. The woman who makes me laugh, who challenges me, who shows up when things fall apart and makes them better. Her eyes were bright with tears. I know this isn't the romantic proposal you probably imagined, he continued. No fancy restaurant, no perfect lighting. Just me, in my shop, asking if you'll spend your life with someone who sometimes smells like motor oil and doesn't always remember to clean under his fingernails. Liam, wheels included? He asked softly. Sophie laughed through her tears. Wheels included. She said yes, and Liam slipped the ring on her finger, staying on his knees so they were eye to eye. When they kissed, it tasted like happy tears and motor oil and the kind of future neither of them had planned, but both of them wanted. 3 months later, Liam stood at the altar in a small garden ceremony, watching Raymond while Sophie down the aisle. The older man's eyes were wet, but his smile was genuine. When he placed Sophie's hand in Liam's, he whispered, "Take care of each other." "We will," Sophie and Liam said together. The reception was intimate, filled with friends from the shop and Sophie's tech company. Someone had decorated her wheelchair with "just married" streamers that caught the evening light. Liam's best man gave a speech about wrong tables leading to right places. Jade cried and claimed credit for everything. As they prepared to leave, Sophie grabbed the microphone. "Everyone talks about fate and destiny," she said. "But sometimes the best things in life come from mistakes. From sitting at the wrong table, from saying yes when you should probably say no, from taking a chance on someone who doesn't fit what you expected." She looked at Liam. "I expected someone polished and perfect. I got someone real and honest who sees me as whole, who shows up when things are hard, who kneels in a grease-stained shop and asks me to spend forever with him, wheels and all." The crowd erupted in applause. Liam pulled her close, and she whispered, "Best wrong table I ever sat at." "Second best," he whispered back. The best one is whatever table we're sitting at together. They left the reception as the sun set, her wheelchair decorated with streamers and tin cans, his hand in hers, driving toward a future built on mistakes that turned into miracles. Sometimes the wrong table leads you exactly where you're supposed to be. Sometimes the person you weren't looking for turns out to be everything you needed. And sometimes love means seeing someone completely, challenges, strength, wheels, and all, and choosing them anyway. Every single day. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and let us know in the comments about a time when a mistake led you to something wonderful. And don't forget to like this video if you believe that the best love stories start in the most unexpected places.